All right, looks like I got one person here. Give me a minute, I'll get started with everything and we'll start recording.
It's a little below, but not quite that far.
That's
This was on the top.
That's what I need. All right, I'm recording. I gotta be a little bit left alone for a few minutes, okay?
Okay, did you start recording?
Already recording.
Oh.
Well, and the one person left. That's okay. Well, I'll make it quick. So, investing in real estate. It's the best hedge against inflation. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but real estate outperforms the stock market every single time. Let's see if I can pull up year over year. So, according to Investopia, from 2005 to 2020. Yeah, it's recorded. It can see you.
Sorry.
I can edit it out. I'll only be a few minutes since no one's on, and I'll just edit it later. So from 2005 to 2020, the stock market, SPDR, S&P 500 ETF, and Vanguard real estate, both had returns of between 312% and 234%. Now, the real estate ETF, it's not the same as buying your own property and renting it out to someone. Those are giant ETFs, ran by huge firms, $1 million apartment complexes, stuff like that. This is completely different. Single family homes has a way better return rate. So I don't know quite how to share my screen. Bear with me. It's my first time ever doing this, but so you have a single family home. You bought it for $100,000. You're renting it for $750 a month. So $100,000, $750 a month. So your yearly return, you take the 750 times 12, and that's your percentage. That's your cap rate, is what we like to call it. 750 times 12 is $9,000. 100,000. Okay, so then you got $100,000 investment. You rent it for $750 a month. You get $9,000 over the first year. So your cap rate, your percentage of what you get back every year, is 9%. Now, that's usually used to calculate large investment properties, not so much single family homes. But for the sake of argument, we can use that 9% for your return. That's an okay return because obviously you got to calculate whatever the mortgage is, your maintenance, any extra fees. So then what you're pocketing is somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 maybe. So yeah, it seems like a way smaller return, like maybe 1%. But you got to consider that money that you're getting from your tenant is going straight to the mortgage. You're not paying for that at all. That's going straight to your mortgage. Same with your taxes, any extra fees, your maintenance fees, all that good stuff. So you're really getting that true 9%. Hopefully it's back. So you're getting that true 9%. Why is that better? Because the stock market doesn't always get 9%. And this is actually a pretty low investment. I'm not going to go over my personal investments in this, but I go for 15 to 20%. That's way better. Have you ever seen the stock market over a 10-year period do 20%? No way. Not going to happen. If you're lucky with inflation, you'll maybe break even 1%, 2% if you're lucky. So first things first, if you don't already own a home, buy a home. A home is the best investment you can make. It's the most expensive investment you can make. And depending on the neighborhood that you buy in, the appreciation rate is anywhere between 10 and 20%. This past year, we've seen huge appreciation rates in 30s and 40%. I wouldn't expect that for the long term. I would settle on something reasonable. 15 to 20% is reasonable year over year. So that $100,000 investment initially to buy your first rental property is going to be $1 million in 30 years. Now, why would a $100,000 house be worth $1 million? Well, back in the 60s and the 70s, you couldn't find a house for more than 100,000. There's no way you could find a house for more than 100,000. Now, what are they going for? 6, 7, 8, easily in the millions. Yeah. So you're going to see that $100,000 investment appreciate over a long term really high. You want to have a minimum cash flow when you're doing rental properties, at least $100. That's a pretty simple one to do. Whatever investment property you're looking for, minimum cash flow of at least $100. I use a higher margin, but if you have at least $100, then you're not in the whole $100. Look at it that way. When you're first looking for your property, use a trusted inspector. My neighbor just got his inspector certificate just a couple of weeks ago. I trust him. I know a couple other inspectors. Always find someone that you trust to inspect the home because you don't want to buy a money pit. You don't want to have some Joe Schmo come in there, inspect the furnace, and 2 weeks later it breaks after you close. That would be terrible. So always use a trusted inspector. I can send people inspectors, names of inspectors if they like. Property management. Property management is a huge thing. There's a million different ways to fry an egg or cut an egg or whatever, but you want to use property management. You don't necessarily want to go with the big companies. I myself, as a licensed real estate agent, can manage your property for you for a nominal fee. If anyone is interested, just send me a message and we can get that sorted out. I won't charge you very much. I'll take care of it. I'll run background checks on everything, and I collect the rent for you and send it over to you. Easy as that. When you first start up, I recommend buying as many doors as possible. Not so much single family homes, more so multifamily. So you want a duplex or a quadplex or a triplex. So you want ideally 4 doors. So you have one monthly mortgage payment of $1,500 to $2,000 a month, but then you're also renting 4 units out at $1,000 a pop, give or take. The area, the size of the house, all that stuff. You could easily make your money 4 times, 5 times over. When you are signing your leases, like I said, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I can help you put your leases together. Always, you want to be on a month-to-month lease with your tenant. Now, that's not to say that you just want to kick people out willy-nilly. There's rules that you got to follow, and I'll help you follow those. But you want to be as protected as possible. So if you get a tenant that looks great, their credit came back fine, and they put their deposits down, but then 2 months later they completely trash your place, you're stuck with them for another year. You don't want that. You want a month-to-month lease. So you trust but verify is what I always like to say. You put them on a month-to-month lease for as long as they want. Just don't raise their rent. I wouldn't. If I have a good tenant, I'm not going to raise their rent just because the market's going up. No, it's already paying for itself. I'm not too worried about it. My mortgage is stuck at 15, 30 years. Why raise it? Unless my taxes go up. Hey, let's share the tax costs a little bit. Or maybe I eat that because I like the tenant. Taxes aren't that much in the grand scheme of things compared to the mortgage. So that's something I would easily eat versus losing a good tenant over. What is next? So when you are purchasing rental property or multifamily or single family, I recommend multifamily, of course. Always view the lease before you purchase. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, purchase an investment property without. Just do your due diligence. Make sure you know what you're getting into. You want to restructure that lease legally to a month-to-month after you take ownership. So you want to switch that over to a month-to-month if it's not already, or just let it expire and let them move out and find a new tenant. And then the last thing, didn't take too long. This is pretty easy. I don't even know if it'll ever see the light of day. Use me as your realtor. I would love to help you find a house. I would love to help you find a good investment property. I've just started in real estate as an agent, but I've been in the real estate industry for a long time. I know the ins and outs of investment property. I can find the right one for you. I get a million emails a day about investment properties in and around the metro area in Omaha. So I'm licensed in Nebraska. I can find you anything in there. I'm on a team that can find you something in Iowa if you're looking there too. So if you are looking, please contact me. I'd love to help you find your next investment property. So since there's no one to answer questions, if anyone has questions who does see this, please just send me an email or actually, let me write it down. Please give me a call at my number. Or send me an email. Give me a call, send me an email if you are interested in finding your next investment property.